See, when they came up with the name for this, they should have called it Facebrag, because that's all it is Facebrag. Yeah, when they invented Facebrag, or Facebook, I've been using it off and on for probably since a little while after it was out, maybe 10 years or so. And most of the content that I see on there is bragging. Oh, we went on this vacation. We did this job. I got a pay promotion. I'm working for this company or whatever. It's just usually bragging about everything that they can possibly do. And then they mention stupid things like I went to the gym. Well, I don't really care. And if I went with you to the gym when we went to the gym, I mean, why would I want to tell anybody else? Why is that a big deal? So what? But I see these people bragging about jobs a lot of times, or I worked with this director, or I worked with this actor, or I made this much money, or whatever. And I'm, brag, 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 brag. And then you see the 5,000 people with 5,000 friends. I mean, they have just a bunch of fake, phony friends that aren't even really their friends. And then Facebrag is so contradictory because they say, well, do you know that person if you try to add somebody on? Do you know that person outside of Facebrag? Well, I think the people that have 5,000 friends don't know the person outside of Facebrag, no matter how popular they are. Even if they were a famous movie star or politician, they're not going to be able to keep track of 5,000 people. They're not going to have 5,000 friends. I mean, come on, give me a break. And usually the people that get on Facebrag, it's just to brag and promote themselves. Or they're like a prostitute for big business. They're basically being pimped out by big business. You'll notice that, after you join them, they become your friend. All of a sudden they're advertising all these products and all this stuff. Or they're advertising for politicians, or they constantly talk about stuff like, how voting for this person, this politician, is going to make a big difference. And it doesn't matter because all the politicians are bought and paid for by big business, regardless of the country. I mean, it's all the same, So that's all it is it's really Facebrag. Ever since I've used it, it's mostly me, 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 me. I went on this vacation, I have this car, I have this purse, or this jewelry, or whatever. It's just constant bragging. Or, they'll even brag about taking a crap. It's I woke up and drank coffee, and then people brag about drinking coffee and what types of coffee or whatever. Or they took a poop. I don't really care if they took a poop or not, and I wouldn't brag about it. I mean, if they hadn't taken a poop for a month, then well, maybe that would be something to brag about because that'd be a serious health condition. But you know what I mean. Or so and so's dating so and so or whatever. And that's all it is face brag. Then years ago on Facebrag, you could actually try to meet somebody in a different country, which was what I liked about it. But now they ask you if you know this person, and then if it turns out that you don't know them, and they want to be an idiot about it and report you as spam or whatever, then you get a bunch of spams for trying to make friends. And I thought that's what Facebrag was all about, was making friends. So it's basically down the tubes. I mean, what's the purpose of being a member? And then it wants to ask a bunch of personal information, And it wants your phone number and where you work and all this stuff for you to put out there publicly. And all that stuff can get stolen, And I've had a couple different Facebrag accounts. And a lot of times I'll have friends ask me, well, why are you asking me to join on this Facebrag? It's under a different name. Well, I got locked out of my other one, because I go back and forth overseas quite a bit, or maybe not quite a bit, but a fair amount of times. Is that bragging? Maybe it would be. It could be if it was like face bragging. But, and so it recognized me from a different IP address or whatever. I've tried using a phone number, and then what happens if that Facebrag phone number that's associated with that account, if you sold that phone or it got broken and you can't retrieve the information off it, then there's no way to get back into your Facebrag. And just like Google, whatever, G Plus or whatever, I mean, once you lose your smartphone and you have that information on it, you can't even get back into the account. And what I was getting to is you can't really talk to a real person from Facebrag or Gmail. You're just talking to computers that never even really meet you. So when you actually run into a problem where you do need a representative from Facebrag or Google or whatever, you can't actually talk to them. When you need help. And then when it first came out, Facebrag was decent because you could add different people that you didn't know and make international friends, but now they've made it so it's really hard to do that. And then they have all these specialized groups and all that stuff, and you can't, unless if it's a private group, you can't join. Like there's some types of elitists that they have their private group on Facebrag. And it's they want all your personal information, and some people put up there and all that, and so that's why I've had different Facebrag accounts. But also with Facebrag is I've had my account hacked into 3 separate accounts. 3 different times I've had my account hacked into. And one of them, it was kind of like they let me know, I think it was like a class, at a hacking class, that's what they were going to school for, is how to hack into computers and computer accounts and all that. And they even hacked into me, and they even kind of, like they showed a person getting a diploma from this hacking school. And they switched that with my profile photo, and then they switched a couple other photos of me around, and then they had a couple photos of me that were photoshopped with somebody that I didn't know, but it wasn't pornographic or anything. It was just to show you that, how you can join their whatever. And it's nonstop bragging. Every Facebrag I see is mostly about bragging or trying to extort people out of money or buy a product. Vote for a political politician, any of that stuff. And yeah, it's Facebrag. Me, I. And then you try to ask them for, well, I need help, or I need advice in an area or not. And Facebrag, and you have these friends on Facebrag, but they're not really your friends, because when you ask them for help, they just dodge you. And like most people, they don't want anything from you. They don't want to interact with you unless you have something that they want. And if you have something that they want, like most people, then they're interested in you. But if you don't have something they don't want, then they're not interested in you. It's just total. And not being able to add people you don't know. I don't have real reason for Facebrag. It's been wasted a lot of my time, basically. And also there's a lot of these stupid games, and you can't get rid of them. Stupid games that I don't want to play. I mean, I don't have time. I would rather look at porno than play a bunch of stupid games that I really don't care about. I have better things to do with my life than to play games. I can think of about 1,000 things I'd rather do than to sit on a computer and play some stupid game. So, Facebrag. And that's basically all it is Facebrag. Brag, 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 brag. And they want to know what high school you went to and all that stuff and all this information. And yeah, and they want to add you as a friend if you have something they want. Then they want to become your new friend on Facebrag. So, yeah. And like I've had to have a couple different accounts because, like I said, they've been hacked into, and then also international travel. The Facebook questions me in the other country or whatever than the one where I set up the Facebrag account, and I might not have all those answers or whatever, and so then it boots me and locks me out of it. And I've had Gmail do the same thing to me too. With that one, my device broke, and I was unable to retrieve the information off it.